Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. A cell without well-defined nucleus is called a prokaryotic cell. So each ribosome is of 70 S. S stands for Swedberg units. Swedberg units. Hello dear students. Welcome back to session 1 of this chapter 8 called The Cell, the Unit of Life. All of us know how important the cell is for a body. And we know the two groups of animals, like we have the unicellular animals and the multicellular animals. So you have come across in unicellular animals, a single cell performs all the activities of the body. But in case of multicellular organisms, there are millions of cells are put together to form tissues into organs, and organs into organ system. So what is a cell then? So in today's chapter and in today's session, we'll be studying about the cell and its structure. As we know, what is cell? Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. There is no life without cell. And you know that the living substance of a cell is nothing but the protoplasm. So protoplasm is called the physical basis of life. Now let us understand what is a cell. What is the correct definition for the word called cell? Cell is the fundamental, structural and functional unit of all living organisms. So how do we define the word called cell? Cell is the fundamental, structural and functional unit of all living organisms. And who for the first time described about the cell? It was Anton von Leeuwenhoek first saw and described the living cell. I think all of you know that the cell is microscopic in nature. It cannot be seen with the naked eye. It can be viewed only through a microscope. So the discovery of microscope was by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. So the credit goes to Anton von Leeuwenhoek, who also discovered a microscope. And Robert Brown later discovered the nucleus. I think all of us know that the cell, which is a structural and functional unit of life, cell has two basic things. One is called the nucleus, that is the central part, and we have the cytoplasm. So what are the two very important components of a cell? Cytoplasm and nucleus. So the nucleus was discovered by Robert Brown. So what is cell? Cell is the fundamental, structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Anton von Leeuwenhoek first saw and described the living cell. Robert Brown later discovered the nucleus. Nucleus is a very, very important part of a cell which contains DNA and RNA, that is the nucleic acid, and the cytoplasm also has cell organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, mitochondria in case, right? So there are different types of cell organelles found in the cytoplasm. Then a scientist by name Scavin in 1839 reported that the cells had a thin outer layer which is known as plasma membrane. So what do you call the outer covering of a cell? In case of animal cell, we use the word called plasma membrane, and in case of plant cell, we come across it is called the cell wall. So the word plasma membrane was reported by a scientist by name Scavin. So Scavin in 1839 reported that the cells have an outer layer which is today known as a plasma membrane. So which acts as a boundary. Boundary of the cell is, in case of animal cell, it is plasma membrane, and in case of plant cell, it is the cell wall. Next, he also concluded presence of cell wall is a unique feature of plant. How do you differentiate a plant cell from an animal cell? Animal cell has an outer covering made up of plasma membrane, whereas in case of plant cell, it is made up of cell wall. Cell wall is nothing but made up of a polysaccharide called cellulose. Plasma membrane is also made up of a polysaccharide. Skeldon and Scavin, the two scientists together, formulated a very important theory called cell theory to explain about the cell. So next, they also propose that the body of animal and plant are composed of cells and product of cells. They are composed of what? Cells as well as the product of cells. So then one more scientist by name Rudolf Virchow in 1855, he modified and gives the final shape to the cell theory. See, imagine the amount of effort put by many scientists to explain about this cell and its structure. So there is a great contribution given by many biologists to explain about what is cell and its structure. Like we have come across Anton von Leeuwenhoek, Robert Brown, then Scaven, then Sheldon and Scaven, then Rudolf Virchow. So all the living organisms, as we know, only the living organisms are composed of cells and the products of cells. And we all know that all cells arise from what? From pre-existing cells. So it is a very, very important. All cells arise from the pre-existing cells. So what is it? Cell is the structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Anton van Leeuwenhoek first saw and described living cell. Robert Brown later discovered nucleus. Then Scaven reported that the cells had a thin outer layer which is today known as plasma membrane. He also concluded presence of cell wall is a unique character of plant cell. Then Sheldon and Scaven together formulated the cell theory. Then they also proposed that the body of animal and plant are composed of cells and product of cells. Then Rudolf Virchow in 1855, he modified and gave the final shape to the cell theory. And all living organisms are composed of cells and products of cells. And all cells arise from the pre-existing cells. An overview of cells. Here you can see the beautiful picture of a cell. What is the difference between a plant cell and an animal cell? A typical plant cell has a distinct cell wall as its outer boundary, and just within it is the cell membrane. Right? And for example, like you come across the human cheek cells have an outer membrane as delimiting structure of the cell. And inside each cell is a dense membrane-bound structure called nucleus. Then the nucleus, as we know, contains the chromosomes. So what is found in the nucleus? That is DNA and RNA. DNA is both are both are called nucleic acids found in the nucleus of a cell and show acidic property. As we know, DNA is a genetic material. RNA is both genetic as well as non-genetic. For example, in some viruses, RNA acts as a genetic material, but its main role is to help in protein synthesis. So the nucleus contains the chromosomes, which in turn contain the genetic material called DNA. As we know, DNA is nothing but called what? Gene. Cells that have membrane-bound nuclei are called eukaryotic. So, we know there are two types of cells. One is called the prokaryotic cell and the other one is called the eukaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. What is the difference between a prokaryotic cell and a eukaryotic cell? Prokaryotic cell do not have a definite cell membrane. The nucleus is not bound by a membrane. Whereas in case of eukaryotic cell, the nucleus is bound by a membrane called nuclear membrane. So here nuclear membrane is absent. All the cell organelles are absent like endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, lysosomes, or mitochondria, all are absent except for ribosomes. Here in eukaryotic cell, the nucleus is bound by a membrane as well as all the cell organelles are present. So, cells that have membrane-bound nuclei are called eukaryotic cell. So, what is a typical plant cell has a distinct cell wall as its outer boundary and just within it is a cell membrane. Membrane and the human cheek cells have an outer membrane as delimiting structure of the cell. Inside each cell is a dense membrane bound structure called nucleus. The nucleus contains the chromosomes which in turn contain the genetic material like DNA. The cells that have membrane bound nuclei are called eukaryotic cells. Here you can see the structure of a cell here. Here you can see the outermost layer. That is, here you can see the nucleus is bound by nuclear membrane. This is the nucleolus. You can see the chromatin. Rough endoplasmic endoplasmic reticulum is of two types. Rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. If the ribosomes are found on the surface of the endoplasmic reticulum, then we use the word called rough endoplasmic reticulum. Then we can see the ribosomes. Then we can see the mitochondria, the Golgi complex. This is a mitochondria. Then here you can see the lysosomes, then secretory vesicles, smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So here the cells that don't have membrane bound nuclei are called prokaryotic cell. As I said, how do you differentiate a prokaryotic cell from a eukaryotic cell? A eukaryotic cell has a nucleus bound by a definite nuclear membrane, whereas in case of prokaryotic cell, the nucleus is not. Here you can see the definite nuclear membrane here. So this is a eukaryotic cell. This is a eukaryotic cell. So it has a definite membrane, nuclear membrane, whereas it is absent in prokaryotic cell. And in both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, a semi-fluid matrix called cytoplasm occupies the volume of the cell. So as you all know that cytoplasm is the main content or main composition of the cell along with nucleus. And the cytoplasm is the main area of cellular activities in both plants and animal cells. As I said, the cell organelles that are found inside the cytoplasm is very much responsible for all the activities that is happening in the cell. For example, like mitochondria is called the powerhouse of the cell. Ribosome is called the protein factory. So they are all involved in various activities of the cell, and in both plant and animal cells. So various chemical reactions occur in it and keep the cell in the living state. Hence they are also called as endomembrane system. So they all coordinate along with each other and help to carry on a very vital function called life. Cell will be alive when all the activities of the cell are going on in a very systematic manner, and all the cell organelles put together help in carrying on the activities of the cell. So besides the nucleus, the eukaryotic cells have other membrane bound structures called organelles. So we use the word called cell organelles. We use the word called cell organelles, right? Next, intracellular membrane bound organelles like what? Endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, lysosomes, mitochondria, then microbodies and vacuoles are present. Particularly in a plant cell we come across vacuoles, but vacuoles are absent in animal cell. Vacuoles are nothing but they enclose the ergastic substances. So the prokaryotic cells do not have such membrane bound, or all membrane bound organelles like the Golgi bodies, endoplasmic reticulum, lysosomes, mitochondria, all these are absent except for ribosomes. Then in both prokaryotic cell, ribosomes are the non-membrane bound organelles found in the cytoplasm. So in both prokaryotic cell as well as eukaryotic cell, you come across ribosomes. And these non-membrane bound ribosomes are also present in two intracellular organelles like chloroplasts in plants and mitochondria and on rough endoplasmic reticulum. As I said, where do you come across the ribosomes? We come across in chloroplasts in plants, mitochondria and on rough ER, that is rough endoplasmic reticulum. So animal cells contain another non-membrane bound organelle called centriole, which helps in cell division. I think all of us know cell growth. What is so very advantageous in multicellular organism? Because how do the cells multiply? Through a very important process called mitosis. Right. So mitosis takes place in the body cells or somatic cells, whereas meiosis takes place in the reproductive cells. So here we come across the centrioles play a very great role in the process of cell division. Now moving across the shapes and sizes of the cell. Here you can see the size and shape of the cell is not the same in all the organisms. So cells differ in size and shape and also in activity. So cells differ in size, differ in shape as well as in activities. You hope you might have come across the smallest living organism is mycoplasma. So the smallest cell measuring about how much? 3.3 millimicron. It is millimicron in length. So mycoplasma, which is the smallest cell, measuring around how much? 0.3 millimicron in length. Bacteria is 3 to 5 millimicron in length. So the largest isolated single cell is the egg of an ostrich. So which is the largest cell? It is the egg of an ostrich. All of you know ostrich is a flightless bird. Among multicellular organisms, human red blood cells are about 7 millimicron in diameter. Nerve cells are the longest. Here you can see the red blood cells, here you can see the white blood cells, columnar, and here you can see the nerve cell, which is the longest. Here you can see the trachea. So here we can see the mesophyll cells. So nerve cells are the longest. Nerve cells are the longest. Cells vary in their shape. They may be disc-like, polygonal, or columnar, or cuboidal, thread-like, or irregular. So here you can see the different shapes of cells. I repeat, moving on to the shapes and sizes of the cells. Cells differ in size, shape, and activity. Mycoplasma, the smallest cell, measuring only 0.3 millimicron in length. Bacteria is 3 to 5 millimicron in length. The largest isolated single cell is the egg of an ostrich. And among multicellular organisms, human red blood cells, here you can see, are about 7 millimicrons in diameter. Nerve cells is the longest cell. And cells vary in their shape. They may be disc-like, or polygonal, or columnar. Here you can see they are columnar. Here you can see they are polygonal. Yes, right. So cuboidal, thread-like, or irregular. Here you can see the picture of mycoplasma, which is the smallest cell. So prokaryotic cell, as I said, how do we differentiate a prokaryotic cell? A cell without well-defined nucleus is called a prokaryotic cell, represented by organisms like bacteria, blue-green algae, mycoplasma. It is also called PPLO, pleuropneumonia-like organisms. Then this is a very important word, expand PPLO. They'll ask for 1 mark in exam. So expand PPLO. What does PPLO stand for? Pleuropneumonia-like organisms. Smaller and multiply more rapidly than eukaryotic cells. So what are the 4 basic shapes of, I think we know that bacteria have been broadly classified into different types based on their shape. So they may be basic rod-like, or they may be coccus, that is spherical, vibrio, that is comma shaped, or they may be spirillum, like spiral shaped, right? Rod shaped, then coccus, vibrio, then spirillum. All prokaryotes have a cell wall surrounds the plasma membrane. Have a cell wall surround the plasma. There is no well-defined nucleus, right? There is no well-defined nucleus. So chromosome is single and circular, not enveloped by nuclear membrane. As I said, in prokaryotic cell, there is no. So how do you actually differentiate a prokaryotic cell from a eukaryotic cell? Prokaryotic cell do not have a definite nuclear membrane. All cell organelles are absent except for ribosomes. In eukaryotic cell, the nucleus is bound by a nuclear membrane. All cell organelles are present. So, present of many small circular extrachromosomal and self-replicable DNA is called plasmid. So, circular DNA is called what? Plasmid. Circular DNA is called as plasmid, which is used as a vector in biotechnology. Then cell envelope and its modification. Now let us understand, in most prokaryotic cell have characteristic complex envelope. Envelope means what? Covering. So the cell envelopes consist of tightly bound 3-layer structure. The outermost glycocalyx, middle cell wall, and inner plasma membrane. So according to the nature of the cell wall and behavior towards the stain developed by a scientist by name Christian Gram, bacteria might be positive or negative. So it is called gram-negative bacteria or gram-positive bacteria. So glycocalyx, which is the outermost layer, may form a loose sheath called slime layer. And glycocalyx may be thick and tough called capsule. So here we classify the bacteria into capsulated and non-capsulated bacteria. Those bacteria which have a capsule are disease causing. Non-capsulated bacteria are non-disease causing. As I said, all bacteria are not disease causing or harmful to mankind. So based on the presence or absence of a capsule, what is that capsule made up of? A chemical composition called glycocalyx. So the cell wall determines the shape of the cell, strong structural support to prevent the bacterium from bursting, and collapsing. So I repeat, cell envelopes and its modification. Most prokaryotic cell have characteristic complex cell envelope. Cell envelope consists of tightly bound 3-layer structure, that is the outermost glycocalyx, middle cell wall and inner plasma membrane. According to the nature of the cell wall and behavior towards the stain, the Christian scientist by name Christian Gram developed two types of bacteria. One is called gram-negative bacteria and gram-positive bacteria. And as I said, the glycocalyx forms a loose sheath called slime layer, and glycocalyx may be thick and tough. Only when it is thick and tough, it is called capsulated. And when it is not thick and tough, it is called non-capsulated. The cell wall determines the shape of the cell, strong structural support to prevent the bacterium from bursting and collapsing. So as I said, plasma membrane, which is the outermost membrane, is semi-permeable in nature and interacts with the outside. So it is like a boundary which communicates with the outside, exterior and interior. A special membranous structure is the mesosome, which is formed by extensions of plasma membrane into the cell. So these mesosomes are in the form of what? Vesicles or tubules and lamellae. What is the very important function of them? They help in cell wall formation, DNA replication and distribution of the daughter cell. They also help in what? Respiration and secretion. Some bacteria have, usually the bacteria are motile. So they have filamentous extensions called flagella. So bacterial flagellum has three parts. So what is the flagellum having? Three parts. One is called filament, hook and basal body. And pili are elongated tubular structures made up of special proteins. So there are called sex pili. And fimbriae are small bristle-like fibers sprouting out of the cell, play a role in addition. So this is about the plasma membrane. So I repeat, plasma membrane is semi-permeable in nature and interacts with the outside world. A special membranous structure is a mesosome, which is formed by extension of plasma membrane into the cell. These extensions are in the form of what? Vesicle, tubules and lamellae. Lamellae means layer. And they help in what? Cell wall formation, DNA replication, distribution to the daughter cell. Then they also help in respiration and secretion. Some bacteria have filamentous extensions called what? Flagella. And this bacterial flagellum has three very important parts called filament, hook and basal body. And pili are also found on the body of the bacteria, which are elongated tubular structures made up of special protein. So fimbriae are small bristle-like fibers sprouting out of the cell. They all play a very important role in attachment, addition. So ribosome and inclusion bodies. Ribosomes, as we know, are associated with plasma membrane. So each ribosome is of 70 S. S stands for Swedberg units. Swedberg units. So here each ribosome has 70 S subunits. So two subunits. One is smaller called 30 S and large called 50 S. As we know, ribosomes are also called as the protein factories. They are very much involved in the process of protein synthesis. As you know, proteins are the building blocks of the body, and the synthesis of proteins takes place in a very important cell organelle called ribosomes. So ribosomes are found both in prokaryotic cell as well as in eukaryotic cell. So several ribosomes attach to single mRNA to form a chain called polyribosome or polysome. So reserve materials are stored in the form of inclusion bodies, and phosphate granules, synophysin granules and glycogen granules are the inclusion bodies. So like we have this gas vacuoles are found in blue-green and purple-green photosynthetic bacteria. Hope you have understood the very important very important concepts of this chapter called Cell, the Unit of Life. So I'll be back in the coming session with some more interesting concepts of this same chapter called Cell, the Unit of Life. Till then, goodbye and thank you.